Hello, welcome to Robyn's Roost. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a fun way to combine your pretty patterned paper and an embossing folder. It's something that I don't do very often. It's really simple, right? And it gives you a little texture on your pretty patterned paper and a unique look on your card. And I'm going to be doing a fall themed one today, but you could use this with with any theme and kind of go through your embossing folders and see what works. Sometimes if you have a greeting on it that you're putting in before you emboss, you want to find an embossing folder that the greeting isn't too heavily embossed. The one I'm using today has a corner that's totally open, so it works great for that. So let's flip the camera and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So first I'll quickly just tell you what I'm going to be using. So I have the Very Best Occasion stamp set. So it's just a stamp set with a bunch of words, and I'm going to be using the Thinking of You. And then I have my double oval punch, the Leaf Fall Embossing Folder. I have a piece of Early Espresso cardstock for my card base, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of pumpkin pie cardstock that is 5 by 3 3/4. This was a leftover piece from a card that I made earlier today, and let me just double check the measurements because it was a leftover, so I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, get my ruler the right way. It is 2 1/4 by 5. I have an inside layer because with the dark cardstock for the base, I had to have something on the inside. This is very vanilla, and it is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have a scrap piece because I'm for punching my greeting out. So to start this, I am going to layer my cardstock piece, or I'm sorry, my designer series paper onto my pumpkin pie piece. And isn't that just the most gorgeous paper? You can just feel the heat of the sun and almost hear the rustle of the leaves. So then we're going to stamp our greeting, and I have to find my, excuse the reach, I have to find my Early Espresso. And I just love the font on this. It's very pretty where it's got the scrolly font and then the typed font. Oh, here's my punch. Lost that for a minute. And if you cut your strips just the right width, you don't have stuff flying all over from the duo punch, because you have two different pieces in here. This was actually just a scrap, but it worked perfect for this. So then I am going to actually, let me think how I'm going to do this. So I think I want my greeting not embossed. So this embossing folder, if you can see, it has stuff on kind of across the corner. If I do it here, that would be good. So I am going to just go ahead and glue this down. And of course you could also just not glue down your greeting until after you emboss, but I kind of wanted to just have everything all on and done with. So I am going to go run over to my emboss machine and run this through and emboss this. Now you will notice that when I ran this through, I have the little Stampin' Up logo up. So that means that my leaves are going to be popped up, although they look gorgeous debossed as well. Just a choice, right? Now if you wanted to, you could take a sponge dauber and sponge the edges and maybe lightly touch over these, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And see the texture that this adds onto our beautiful designer paper. And I am just going to put this onto my card base, debating in my head whether I want to do it with dimensionals and pop it up. I think I do. I don't usually do a big piece like this popped up, but let's just see how it looks. This is kind of an on-the-fly thing here this morning. Let's see, before we do that, let's fold our card. Yes, I like that popped up. It gives it just another layer of dimension. So all we need to do now is put our greeting inside, and I'm going to leave this blank. I'm thinking it would make a beautiful, I could use this with comfort and love on the inside. You could make it a birthday card. It could be just anything, right? So why don't you go ahead and play with this technique of embossing over your patterned paper. And I think when you do this, where you put two pieces together, I've heard some people call it embedded embossing. So you're embedding more than one piece on when you run it through your embossing folder. So have fun with this, and thanks for stopping by at the Roost.